man, I got my hands on Death Stranding, and I know that we've talked about this on the podcast, and I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong about Death Stranding.
He said it. You guys heard him.
I did,
yes. He was wrong.
I was wrong. So last podcast we talked about how there was reviews from IGN and a few other places that said that the gameplay to this was extremely frustrating, very tedious, pretty boring playstyle. And I will be the first to say that this doesn't seem like the type of game that I would normally pick up and play, but I did, and I actually enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And there were some parts that I was a little, hesitant on just throughout the gameplay. So, for instance, the very beginning of the game, the story is heavy. There's not very much gameplay. They go into a lot of story, backstory, and kind of like a present-day story about the main character, Sam, which is played by Norman Reedus. And it's just extremely in-depth. So they kind of throw a lot of terms at you, like BTs, BBs, Doom. Like they throw a lot of concepts at you, and it's very tough. You need to pay attention to the storyline because the storyline is important. But there's not a lot of gameplay in the very beginning. There's just a lot of cutscenes. Mm-hmm. So, with that said, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've only played about five hours of the game, I'd say. So I'm not very deep into the game, but from what I gathered from the game, the whole point of this game is to connect society. So they have the United States, and it is just in pieces, basically. And Norman Reedus' job, basically, is to connect those areas that are still alive, that still has parts of humanity, or pockets of humanity, if you will. Okay. And there are the Death Stranding, or they call them the BTs in the game, which are beached things, they call them. And the reason why they call them, from what I've read, they're called beached things. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they call them beach things is there's a concept of there's this black sea that they come out of, like a almost like a black water, and they come up and basically pull people into this death realm, is like where their final resting place is. And the reason why that they're on the Earth right now is because those beings, those entities, are stranded there. So hence Death Stranding. BTs are beach things. They're not in the sea of the dead. Basically, they are on the land, stranded for
like stuck in like a limbo.
Yeah, like a limbo kind of thing almost. But I
said limbo. Limbo.
I knew what you meant. Yeah. But no. So as the time goes on, you start to realize that your character is important. He is a specific individual that is a courier, and he basically is undying in the sense that he can be kind of reborn again. And it's a very lackadaisical term when I say that, but it's I haven't really got into that part yet. But he's just a specific type, or I forget what the term they use. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But anywho, if people, like an actual person dies in this realm, they eventually turn into the BTs, and it takes time after they die for them to do this, so that they cremate the bodies in order for them to technically not become that thing. Mm-hmm. If they don't get them to a spot to cremate them, they actually kind of just explode and create this giant crater. And in this crater, there is like a giant BT, like a giant creature. And it's the weirdest thing. I've seen it happen in the beginning part of the game. It's just like a giant thing that appears, and it just creates this giant crater and just destroys basically everything in that area.
Yeah.
So
I still don't. So from what I saw you play of it, I still don't think I like it, man. Watching you from when I first got here today, and I was watching you play, and you're like, you went to your map screen, you're like, I started here and I gotta go here, and I'm like, you're like, and I'm here, and I was like, oh cool, how long have you been like running? And you're like, oh, about 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then we start playing, or you start playing, I'm watching, and then like, I don't know, another 10 minutes goes by, and you like pull up your map, you're like, cool, now I'm here, I still have to go all the way over here, and I'm just like, all right, so we're saying like another 10 minutes, but then you run into a couple people that are like trying to hurt you. So I would say all in all, man, I watched probably about 40 minutes of it, and it was just you walking through the grass and down some things. You fought 2 people.
3
people.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
So that's right there, man. That for me is too. I mean, as the game progresses, and maybe the story is what really hooks you in and says, okay, this 35-minute trek across this environment. And whenever you start picking up weapons and you start picking up guns and stuff, I'm sure I'll see. And maybe I'll just borrow this from you and play it a little bit too. And just. Yeah. But after everything that was talked about it, and after I saw those reviews, and then even after seeing you play it today, I feel let down because I was so like, and I had like, again, I'm saying this without playing it, but I've seen like, I remember watching it, I remember seeing it with you, and I'm just super let down.
See, and I'm not.
It's not picking up fast.
It's like, so I understand that it's so story driven in this game. Like, I've been wanting a story driven game, and this story is super in depth. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of character development going on, and I really enjoy that. And if you get immersed in this story, that's what sells the game to you. It's not so much the gameplay. I really enjoy. Like, if they made it into a movie, I would go see the movie. It's a really good movie, but it's the story that really sells this game.
Yeah, but you said you played for 5 hours today, and I know 35 to 40 minutes of that was just walking.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I watched. I didn't see any cutscenes. I didn't see any. I didn't get to see you go to any merchants. I didn't get to see you upgrade any of your stuff or talk to any. I didn't see any of the story play out. I watched it for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's
I'm saying,
a lot.
There's so much that there's so much that you don't see that because you weren't in the beginning part of the game.
And I'm sure that plays a huge part in it, which makes sense.
So, for instance, the rain is called timefall, is what they refer to it as. It's basically aging that happens when the rain touches things. Mm-hmm. So the crates that you carry on your back, they actually start to age, start to rust. If your skin is open to the rain, you start to age and start to deteriorate, basically. And it's extremely neat to see like parts of the games because you don't see people like players different players play the same on this. I'm assuming it's a server that carries all this information, and people play on it, and they can alter the
landscape.
Thank you. By building bridges, putting ladders down.
I saw you go down that ladder and then move the ladder over so you can go up.
Yeah, which is awesome. Because you don't see them there, but they can change things for you to make it easier or to make it harder.
Yeah, but I also see like going forward now, right? So I saw that earlier, and you're like, I didn't build this bridge. It shows, and it told you who built it, right?
Yes, which is really cool.
But going forward now into the game, and as you progress, I feel like a lot of the experience that you would get from the game, even though a lot of it's just walking around, will go away because whenever you get to a hard part that you need to get across, someone's already built a bridge for you.
That's true, and it's
so
not.
Now
it's
when
not
you're
on all parts, though.
Now when you're scavenging,
yeah,
scavenging. You're less likely to pick up certain items that you need to build certain items because there's just bridges on everything.
And I'm wondering if it's like the same, like they're in the same part or same progression as you that they maybe put you in. So like maybe once they get past a certain point in the game that you are, their stuff that they've built thus far is gone. Maybe. I don't know how that works. I haven't gotten that far. I haven't read too much about that part of the game. But what I'm really shocked about is the fact that they go into so much detail that like going into the barracks to kind of sleep and things like that really regains your stamina, your baby. So like the baby that you have strapped to your stomach, it does see the BTs that are out in the world. And it can be drained, so it won't be able to see those things after it's drained. So you have to go back and recharge that. There's a lot of detail that goes into this game that I'm actually really impressed with. But like at the same time, there is a lot of detail, and the stumbling can be annoying. I know there's been times that I needed to get across like a big giant river, basically, and I'd get swept away in it because you lose stamina as you walk across it, and you have to balance yourself. And if you go slow across this river, you will get swept away and you lose all your stuff.
Yeah.
And it just floats down the river, and you might as well say goodbye to it because it's so tough to get back to it. So, I mean, there are frustrating parts. I don't think that navigating through the BTs, because you have to hold your breath and crouch when you go near them, because they're based off of sound. They can't technically see you. They can hear you. So, like, if you're running by them, they'll be able to attack you, and you kind of go into this weird, like, it's not cinematic, I guess, but it's like a sea of black goes around you, and like these like creatures start trying to pull you into the ocean of
darkness.
Yeah. So basically, but like I feel like it was very. I played it on a normal to kind of get through it really quickly. Yeah. And that it seemed very easy to fight them off unless you have a crap ton of weight on you. Then I had a really tough time fighting them off, but. It didn't seem that scary in a sense that like I didn't feel like I was going to be outmatched by this creature. I just kind of outran it half the time and I was fine. Yeah. So, but I mean, I like the story. I think that's what really sold me this game.
It's got to be.
I'm not saying
the premise behind it looked really cool. Like all the research I did on it, it looked like and it had a really good cast, really good lineup for the voice actors and stuff. But even after watching you play it today and after that one review that I saw. And I guess I haven't played it. So like you're even saying too, you're saying things like, you know, if your baby loses juice or whatever this thing is, your baby juice runs out, you got to go back to get more baby juice. That is when you say I got to go back to get more baby juice, like we're talking like 45 minutes from where you are to get the baby juice to get back to where you are, and then I don't know, man. I need, again, like, so back to Red Dead Redemption, right? That's what I was saying about Red Dead Redemption is, like, the horses aren't fast enough. You know, when you want to go someplace, it's like, all right, let's travel halfway across.
Typical millennial. You want things now. No, I'm just kidding. I understand it, dude. It makes sense because there are parts...
Millennial? Maybe you're trying to get slapped today,
just
man.
Kidding. No, the gameplay, it can be slow at times. It can be tedious at times. There's a lot of times that you have to crouch past these things when you have barely any stamina, and... basically you ended up like you had like probably like 15 to 20 minutes where it should take you like maybe 5 to walk past these, and you're trying to navigate through this field of BTs. It's very tough and very tedious
and very time consuming.
Yes, it really is, but I mean like I said, I haven't played the whole game. Yeah. I wouldn't but with all this said, I still wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
I would like to like
Redbox
is the way to go, in my opinion.
Google
I guess.
Stadia. It's not. Yeah. Was it coming out for Google? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Not that I know.
It wasn't.
No, because it's a PlayStation exclusive. But no, I would not. I personally like. It's a fun game so far. I like it. I probably don't know. I mean, I wouldn't replay it as of right now. I would have to play more to see if I get really invested in the game. Like I beat The Last of Us. I'd love to play that game again. Yeah. The story was fantastic. The gameplay was quick and fluent. Like I really enjoyed it. This game it's very long. The cutscenes can be extremely long. The dialogue can be long. Even the gameplay can like stretch on and on. In my talking about it can stretch on and on. Yes. But yeah, I would definitely just pick it up. If you want to check it out, just check it out. Like it's worth checking out.
Yeah, Redbox. Go snag a copy. See what you think.
Yeah.
I do want to play it still. You know what I really want to play though? Jedi.
Yes.
Fallen Order, man. The 15th. We're almost there. That game I'll pick up probably.
So a couple days.
A couple days, man.
We will pick it up and play it and give you guys our honest review about it.
I'm hoping it's awesome.
I hope so too. I hope I can get more than 5 hours into a game because, like, I'd like to give someone a better synopsis of a game.
No, I mean, I feel like we got the main gist, other than the weapons that you get,
yes,
and the vehicles that you get,
yep,
and then the snowy part that you get to eventually somewhere farther down that we know about. Other than that, those three things, I think you got the gist of the game.
No, but this game is extremely long. I'll be honest, right too, because I was reading somewhere it said that there's like different, like I don't know if they're called chapters or whatever. But there's like. From what I've seen, and people said that there's like 14 chapters, and they said they played like hours and hours, and they've gone to chapter 4, and it's 14 or something. Like I don't know what the real numbers are or whatever it is, but they say the game is just extremely long.
Yeah, that's good, man. If it progresses and it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe on chapter 15. I said 14 out of 15.
You also said you don't know the numbers, so on chapter 19, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So maybe farther down the road, it just becomes this amazing game that's very fluent and like you just it's really enjoyable.
But now I'm curious as to does the game this is a really long game because there's 14 chapters, but is it only really long because it takes you 45 minutes to get from one point to another point that's not very far on the map? Making the game draw on.
Not only that, like I said, it's the dialogue that's extremely long. There's a lot of things that go into this, and you have to pay attention to it because it can't be just like, you know what, I'm just gonna let this cutscene go and I'll just skip through it real fast. You have to understand the story to really appreciate the game. Because like even like there would be some times that I actually missed some things because I had to do something around the house, and I wanted to pay attention to the storyline, but I physically couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang it! So I had to read up about it again because I honestly didn't know. Like,
that's what's up.
So,
yeah, man. How do you like the voice acting and is it on par? Do you like Norman Reedus' character?
Yeah, no, he's Norman Reedus. Like, it's just who he is. So like, if you can envision Norman Reedus in Walking Dead, like that's just who he is as this character. Sam.
That's cool. I like it.
The graphics are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They look beautiful. Every cutscene is fantastic. Even playing like just straight gameplay is really beautiful.
Nice.
The landscape is gorgeous. I haven't the fighting mechanics are like just because you have a lot of weight on you, it's very tough to tell. Because
you can tell you're sluggish.
Yeah. As you add more weight.
I should have taken the controller from one play.
You should have.
I should have. I didn't. Maybe next time.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure.
Jedi Fallen Order.
I want to play that game, man. I want to get, dude. And I bet when you get 5 hours into that game, you're like way farther than you are in.
I'm sure. But then again, like I feel like this is gonna be a good story. But I don't think it's gonna be as detailed of a story as Death Stranding, just because this game is like, I don't know, the epitome of like story-driven game. Like this is just a straight story game.
That's what's up. I'm all about it, man. Yeah, I'll give it a shot and we'll see. Ready for Fallen Jedi. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good.
66.
I do not know, Master. No, I'm super excited for it. We will get our hands on that and we will give our honest opinion and review about that game.
Because I don't care what you do. I look like I care what you think. Do I look like I care what you think?
I mean, I'm hoping someone cares.
Me too. I'm hoping that they care.
And thanks for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast. Be sure to rate and subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. I release a new episode every Wednesday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.